What's up, everybody? Welcome back to More to Marriage. I'm your boy, Marquise.
And I'm your girl, Crystal.
Today, we're talking about a very hot topic. Have you ever said these words? This isn't the person that I married.
Woo!
If you've never said that,
Yikes.
here's what I know about you. You've thought it.
You're lying.
Okay. We've all thought about this idea of our spouse changing. The reality is, Crystal, you are not the same woman that I married going on 9 years ago.
What you mean by that?
You have changed. Like we all have, but how do we navigate that change? The reality is, when we talk about this idea of our spouse changing, the truth is none of us are going to be married to the exact same person we were married to on our wedding day.
Absolutely not. And the biggest problem with this is that we think our spouse is supposed to continue to be the exact same person we married on our wedding day. But the reality is when we're dating and when we're married for the first time, or we show up to our wedding, like we're putting our best foot forward.
Everything.
You know, we're showing the greatest parts of us. It is not until you get married, you're with that person day to day.
Real comes out.
The mundane, and you're like, oh, you leave crumbs after you eat. Oh, I ain't talking about nobody in specific. Oh, you leave your underwear.
Here we go.
In the middle of the floor.
Here we
you know,
go.
Stuff like that. You don't find out until you actually do life with this person consistently.
So yeah, no, that's real. And to believe that our spouse is going to stay the exact same over the course of time, it causes a couple of problems. The first problem is that it's unfair.
Yes, it leaves our spouse feeling boxed in.
Yeah.
And I just believe how God designed us, how he made us is not to be boxed in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's unfair for you. Like Crystal and I, we've been going on 9 years of marriage. It is unfair for her to believe that I'm the same. I'm 32 now, that I'm the same man I was at 23.
You a father now.
Man, I'm a father now. I think differently.
Yes.
I move differently. There's just certain things that, man, for me, I'm just different and I'm a different person.
Yes.
So it's unfair to think that I got to be, this is who I married and you better stay this way for the rest of my life. It's unfair.
Absolutely. The second thing is it's unrealistic. It is a bad thing if your spouse stays the same.
Yes.
One thing that I'm not going to put up with, let me just tell y'all this. I'm not going to put up with nobody that's going to keep me stagnant.
She's being honest.
Listen, I always say in the Bible, Jesus should have talked about, for the grounds for divorce, if you keep your spouse stagnant,
keep me down,
press it down, keep me bound, I have the right to leave, right?
Yeah,
he didn't say that.
He didn't say it.
But sometimes I'm like, man.
Crystal would have wrote that in.
Yeah,
she was right
and take my consequences later. I'm just kidding.
But no, it's unrealistic to just believe that, because the truth of the matter is all of us change. We are going to change. We're not going to be the same person, and you shouldn't be. You should evolve into being a better version of yourself. But when we don't do that, we box people in and we create these unrealistic expectations on our spouse.
Yes. Allowing your spouse space to evolve will lead to three things. The first thing is this. It sends a message that I'm going to serve every version of you.
Say that again. Look at your camera.
Yes. It sends a message that says to your spouse, I'm going to serve every version of you. That means when we're in the valley, I'm going to serve you. When we are succeeding and on the mountaintop, I'm going to serve you. That means when you're doing great and when you're not doing great, when you feel like your world is crumbling, when you're down and out, I am going to serve every version of you.
I think about your grandparents in this moment. They're married for how long?
63 years.
63 years of marriage. If you believe that they're the same person they were 63 years ago, but that idea of I'm serving every version of you. I'm serving we've been married for 30 years
version of you.
The 43 years, 53, 63 years. You're going to change, evolve, and I'm here to serve every version of you. So that's the first message that it sends.
Yes. The second is it lets your spouse know you are safe here.
You're safe.
One of my biggest goals in marriage, and just as a spouse, to be a great spouse to Marquise, is that I want you to feel that you're safe in my presence. Yeah. I don't care what he's experiencing. I don't care what he's going through. If I am cultivating a safe space, then I know no matter what we go through, we're going to get through it together.
Yeah. And I'm not ashamed to tell you, hey, I am changing. Hey, I am different. This is different in
Yes.
me now, whatever it might be, all of those things, but it makes me feel safe. And I love this third one, allowing your spouse space to evolve. It makes you more selfless. It makes you, like, if I got to serve a different version of you and I'm going to go through the ebbs and flows and, okay, Crystal's different now than she was 6 years ago, 5 years ago. Man, it makes me more selfless because I'm laying my life down for every version of you. And man, I'll just say it, for marriage is great on selfless people.
Yes.
And it's hard on selfish people.
Ooh, say that one more time.
Marriage is great on selfless people, and it's hard on selfish people.
Wow. Marriage will really show you just how selfish you are.
Absolutely.
It really will.
Yeah.
The keys to evolving with one another is communication. And I'll add another word in, clear communication, because we can communicate to each other all day and still be missing each other. You have to communicate when you are sensing a change. I think sometimes we think that our spouses are like genie in a bottles. They can read our minds, and the reality is they can't. And so when there's change going on the inside of us, it's important for us to, even if we don't really know exactly what's happening, it's important for us to communicate, hey, there's something going on the inside of me. And so if I'm short, or if I'm not acting like the wife you know, just
bear with me.
Bear with me. Bear with me. Y'all know that, Tiana Taylor. Shout out to Tiana Taylor. But yeah, bear with me in my process. Come on this journey with me. Clearly communicating that to your spouse is letting them know, hey, I want you on this journey with me. I don't want to do this thing alone.
Yeah, and this goes back to that safety thing, because there's just certain aspects of us that change. What did it for me back then, even if you're talking sexually, hey, what did it for me back then this way, I'm like this way now.
It's
whatever
not working
it might
no
be,
more.
it's different. I'm a changed man. I'm a changed woman.
Sometimes we like to do the same thing that was working in one season and think it's going to work in the next season.
Unleash the people.
And we need to always ask, is this still working for you?
Is this still your thing?
Is this still something you like, and be okay with the response if they're like, hey, I actually like it like this now.
And the most notable, changing gears just a little bit, the most notable time, and it just dawned on me, in our marriage where there was a change in you was after you gave birth to Denver.
Yes.
We went through
we had a very traumatic experience in recovery after emergency C-section. I having to be down for, 3 months, felt like a long time, felt like years. My mom had to take care of our son. Marquise felt like he was going through postpartum depression.
For real.
Because he had to take care of our son by himself. It was a lot going on. And inside, everyone, some of my close friends and doctors, you just experiencing postpartum depression. And I was like, absolutely.
She was denying it.
I'm not experiencing that. I don't know what y'all talking about. Everybody cry. Everybody cry. Everybody feel overwhelmed. That's what I was saying. But once I got to my senses, I realized that I was experiencing postpartum depression. So even after the 6-week mark where Marquise and I could connect, he like, listen, I don't feel this connection with you as my spouse. And I'm like, man, there's something going on inside of me. Not just my title changed as a mother, but it was just like my title was even changing, even as a wife, how I cared for myself and how I cared for my husband and how I cared for our newborn child. So going through that experience taught me how to clearly vocalize and communicate when there's a shift happening on the inside of me, when I'm struggling internally, when I'm changing, that is important to vocalize that to my spouse so that he can come on the journey with me. Even if he doesn't have the answers, even if he cannot fix it, at least he knows that he's not the problem, so that we could eliminate any tension within our marriage.
Absolutely. That clear communication changes the game, and it's the best way to navigate change. The reality is you are going to change, your spouse is going to change, but how do you navigate that? Clearly communicate, and it sends wonderful messages that I'm with you, I love you, we're in this thing together, and I'm going to serve every version of you.
So
all right?
good.
Now listen, if this video was helpful in any way to you, or you believe it'll be helpful for someone else, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, we love y'all, and remember, getting more out of your marriage starts
with giving more in your marriage.
Peace.
See ya.